On a rainy Tuesday in Portland, Michael Bennett, a widowed carpenter and single father to 9-year-old Emma, spots a woman crying at a bus stop. Dressed in scrubs, she looks exhausted beyond a long shift. Though late to pick up Emma, something in her posture, defeated yet dignified, makes him roll down his window. "Need a ride?" he asks. Sophia Chen hesitates, then climbs in. Neither speaks much, but when Michael's phone rings and Emma struggles with homework, Sophia quietly explains the water cycle in a way that delights the child over speakerphone. Michael drops her at a rundown apartment building. She tries to pay, he refuses. "Pay it forward someday." 3 days later, Emma falls at school and needs the EA at Portland County Hospital. The nurse treating her is the woman from the rain, Sophia. She's gentle, thorough, and clearly respected despite being new. Emma recovers quickly and dubs her the Rain Lady. Weeks later at the farmer's market, Emma spots Sophia and drags her to their woodworking stall. Conversation is awkward but kind. Sophia admires a maple cutting board but can't afford it. That night, Michael finds himself making a smaller version without quite knowing why. Spring arrives. In the community garden, Michael and Emma discover Sophia tending a struggling plot. Emma critiques her overwatering with grave authority. Gardening lessons follow, shared sandwiches, shy smiles, Emma chattering between the adults. Slowly, a rhythm forms. When Emma's science fair project stalls, Sophia helps, turning their kitchen into a glitter and soap germ laboratory. Dinner happens by accident. Laughter follows, real, unguarded laughter Michael hasn't felt in years. One day Michael's truck dies outside the hospital. He's secretly delivering a donated bookshelf to pediatrics. Sophia brings him coffee. Their hands brush passing tools. Something shifts. Emma issues the next invitation herself. "Come to Sunday dinner." Dad makes good lasagna except when he burns it. Sophia arrives with apple crumble made from her grandmother's recipe. Later on the rooftop, identifying constellations for Emma's project, the child falls asleep between them. Michael says quietly, "She trusts you. She doesn't do that easily." Sophia answers, "Children know who really sees them." But doubt creeps in. Michael overhears hospital gossip about the Boston whistleblower and confronts Sophia. Why didn't she tell him she was once a prominent physician, not just a nurse practitioner? That she lost everything, career, home, fiancé after exposing dangerous cost-cutting that harmed children? The argument is raw. Michael's old wound opens. "You'll leave when something better comes along." Everyone does. Sophia's reply is steady but pained. "Not everyone leaves, Michael. Some of us get left." He shuts her out. Emma grows quiet, missing Nurse Sophia. A letter from Sophia remains unopened on his dresser. At the school art show, Emma's featured drawing shows 3 figures in a garden labeled "My Family." Michael's defenses crack. He tries to call. Her number is disconnected. Panic. Rising, he tracks her down behind the hospital, loading boxes into her car. She's been offered her old Boston job back. The corrupt administrators were finally removed. Michael assumes the worst. She's leaving them the way Catherine left. Sophia corrects him tiredly. "I turned it down. Portland is where my heart is now." She donated the settlement money, let her phone lapse because rent was due, and was moving to a cheaper apartment, not fleeing. Michael realizes he almost pushed away the best thing to happen to them out of fear. 2 weeks later, Emma spikes a dangerous fever. In a packed EA, Sophia, now consulting as the reinstated pediatric specialist, takes charge, diagnoses possible meningitis, and saves Emma's life with swift expertise. Afterward, in the quiet hospital room at dawn, truths surface. Michael admits he built walls to protect Emma and himself from another abandonment. Sophia admits she almost ran because staying meant risking real attachment after years of loss. Emma wakes, looks between them, and asks sleepily, "Are you two friends again?" Sophia smiles carefully. Sometimes grown-ups forget what matters, but we remember when it counts. 3 days later, Michael and Emma arrive at Sophia's new apartment with a gift, a hand-carved cherrywood medicine cabinet bearing a caduceus and perfectly fitted compartments. Inside, a note, "Healers need healing too." Emma tugs Sophia's sleeve. "Can we have dinner?" "Dad burns spaghetti." Sophia looks at Michael, eyes soft with question and hope. He answers, "Building anything good takes time," and choosing every day to stay. 6 months later, their lives are gently braided together. Sophia's apartment holds Michael's woodwork. His workshop now has a corner for her free weekly clinic. Sunday dinners include neighbors who've become family. Emma thrives, secure in a love that multiplies rather than divides. When Boston. Comey's calling again with a prestigious offer. Sophia opens the letter with Michael beside her. Together they decide her gifts are needed more in their little community clinic than in any elite institution. On the anniversary of that rainy Tuesday, they break ground on a combined workshop and clinic. The local paper runs the headline, "Whistleblower." Doctor and carpenter build healthcare hope in underserved neighborhood. That night rain falls again. Michael pulls his old truck to the curb. This time Sophia waits under an umbrella, Emma between them holding both their hands. Inside their home, 3 pairs of muddy rain boots line up by the door, different sizes, equally loved. The rain came down in sheets the night Michael Bennett first saw her. He was already late to pick up Emma, windshield wipers fighting a losing battle, when he spotted the woman at the deserted bus stop. Scrubs clung to her frame, she was folded. In on herself, shoulders shaking with sobs that had nothing to do with being cold. Something in the way she stood, broken but still upright, made him pull his battered pickup to the curb. He rolled the window down an inch. "Need a ride?" She looked up, startled, rain streaking her face. Exhaustion lived in her eyes like an old tenant. After a beat, she nodded and climbed in without a word. Inside the cab, the heater wheezed warm air and the radio played low. Michael gave his name. She didn't offer hers. Silence stretched until his phone rang, Emma, panicking over homework. He fumbled through an explanation of the water cycle that made no sense. The woman leaned toward the phone. "Imagine the sun gives water molecules tiny wings so they can fly up into the clouds," she said softly. "When they get too heavy, they fall back down as rain." Emma's delighted, "Oh," broke the tension. Michael glanced over. The stranger was almost smiling. He dropped her at a tired apartment building on the east side. She reached for a wallet that held nothing but a hospital ID, Sophia Chen. NP, pride flashed across her face when she realized it was empty. "Pay it forward someday," Michael said, and meant it. 3 days later, Emma took a header off the monkey bars. Minor concussion, the school said, precautionary e-visit recommended. Michael's heart jack hammered the entire drive. In the pediatric bay, a familiar voice called Emma's name. Sophia froze for half a second, then knelt to a child's level with professional warmth. She checked pupils, asked gentle questions, promised a popsicle if Emma was brave. To Michael she said only, "She'll be fine," and somehow he believed her. Emma recovered quickly and christened her the Rain Lady. Spring crept in. At the Saturday farmers market, Emma spotted Sophia examining kale like it might bite her. Emma waved frantically until Sophia approached their woodworking booth. "We make everything ourselves," Emma announced, standing on tiptoe. Sophia's fingers lingered on a small maple cutting board, tracing the grain, then moved to the price tag and set it down with quiet regret. That night, Michael found himself in the workshop long after Emma was asleep, shaping a smaller version of that same board, edges buttery smooth. In the community garden, they discovered Sophia had claimed the weed-choked corner plot. Emma marched over, hands on hips. "You're drowning them. Dad says plants need room to breathe, just like people." Gardening lessons followed, 3 generations of know-how from Michael, unfiltered opinions from Emma, and Sophia's graceful willingness to learn. They ate peanut butter sandwiches on an old bench while Emma chattered, and the adults stole careful glances over her head. When Emma's science fair project hit a wall, bacteria versus viruses, Sophia arrived with food coloring, glitter, and a metaphor involving pepper and soap that ended in shrieking laughter and a kitchen that looked like a unicorn exploded. Michael laughed so hard his ribs hurt, a sound he'd almost forgotten he owned. One Sunday, Emma issued the invitation herself. "Come eat with us. Dad makes good lasagna, except when he burns the garlic bread." Sophia brought apple crumble made from her grandmother's recipe, the scent of cinnamon filling the tiny apartment. After dinner, they carried a blanket to the roof for Emma's constellation project. Emma fell asleep between them, small hand curled around Sophia's sleeve. "She trusts you," Michael said into the dark. "She doesn't do that easily. Not since her mom left." "Children know who really sees them," Sophia answered. "But secrets have weight." One afternoon, Michael arrived at the hospital with a finished cutting board, Sophia's initials carved small in the corner as a thank you. In the hallway, he overheard nurses whispering, "Boston whistleblower, ruined careers, blacklisted." He confronted her in the staff lounge. The story poured out, prestigious physician. Discovered dangerous cost-cutting that harmed kids, reported it, lost everything, career, fiancé, home. Portland was the only place that would hire her. Michael's fear spoke louder than his heart. "So we're just your pit stop until Boston takes you back? Until something better comes along?" Sophia's voice stayed level, but her hands shook. "I stood up for children like Emma and paid for it. I did what was right and lost everything except who I am." "You'll leave," he said. "They always do." "Not everyone leaves, Michael," she answered. "Some of us get left." He shut her out. Texts went unanswered. Emma's questions about Nurse Sophia grew quieter, then stopped. A letter in Sophia's neat handwriting sat unopened on his dresser for weeks. The school art show shattered him. Emma's centerpiece, 3 crayon figures in a garden, tall man with tools, little girl with pigtails, woman in scrubs. Across the top in purple marker, my family. That night he tried to call. Number disconnected. He found her behind the hospital loading the last boxes into her car. Boston had offered reinstatement. The corrupt administrators were gone. Michael's bitterness rose like bile. "So you're running?" "Just like Catherine." Sophia closed the trunk with deliberate calm. "I turned Boston down. I donated the settlement to a patient advocacy fund. My phone's off because I couldn't pay the bill. I'm moving to a cheaper apartment across town, not across the country." All the air left him. "I was afraid," he said. "Afraid to need someone again." "I know afraid," she replied. I still stayed. 2 weeks later, Emma burned with 103 fever that children's Tylenol barely touched. The A was slammed. Michael's panic climbed with every minute they waited. Then Sophia appeared, called in from Boston for a consulting weekend, the only pediatric specialist available. She took one look at Emma, ordered a lumbar puncture, started antibiotics, and refused to leave until the cultures came back clean. At 4 a.m., with Emma finally sleeping, Michael found her charting under fluorescent light. "You came back," he whispered. "I never really left." Dawn painted the windows gold. Emma stirred, looked between them with fever-bright eyes. "Are you two friends again?" Sophia smoothed damp hair from Emma's forehead. "Sometimes grown-ups forget what matters. But we remember when it counts." 3 days later, Michael and Emma showed up at Sophia's new apartment with sawdust in their hair and hope in their eyes. They carried a cherrywood medicine cabinet, caduceus hand carved on the door, interior fitted perfectly for bandages, thermometers, the small daily tools of healing. In the center compartment lay a jar of lavender bath salts and a note in Michael's careful block letters. Healers need healing too. Emma tugged Sophia's sleeve. Can we have dinner? Dad burned spaghetti. Sophia looked at Michael, eyes shining with everything they hadn't yet said. Building anything worthwhile, he answered, voice rough. Takes patience, mistakes, and choosing. Every single day to stay. She smiled then, small and real and unafraid. Then let's start with spaghetti. 6 months later, the apartment walls held Michael's smaller pieces. His workshop had a corner for Sophia's free Saturday clinic. Sunday dinners grew to include neighbors who had become aunts and uncles by choice. Emma's drawings covered the refrigerator like bright flags. When Boston sent another letter, department chair, unlimited budget, Sophia opened it at the kitchen table with Michael's hand over hers. Together they wrote the refusal. Some things, they had learned, are worth more than prestige. On the 1-year anniversary of a rainy Tuesday, they broke ground on a combined workshop and community clinic. The local paper ran a photo, carpenter, doctor, and a pigtailed 9-year-old holding hands in the mud, grinning like they'd won the world. That night the rain came again, soft and steady. Michael pulled the truck to the curb. This time Sophia waited beneath a shared umbrella, Emma swinging between them, all three laughing as they dashed for the door. Inside, 3 pairs of muddy boots lined up by the entrance, different sizes, equally loved. On the kitchen table sat the little maple cutting board from the farmer's market, worn soft from daily use. Some storms don't destroy. They wash away what was never rooted deep enough to stay and leave rich soil for something stronger to grow.